Please remain silent and do not skip this part of the video until the last post tune has finished. Failing to obey this instruction disrespects the British and Allied troops who served and fought for the freedoms of our respected countries, including here in the United Kingdom, and helped bring to an end to World War II 80 years ago on May 5th, 1945.
Aroswch yn dawel a pheidiwch a hebgor y rhan hon o'r fideo nes bod y Dawn Last Post wedi gorffen. Mae methu ag ufuddhau'r cyfarwyddyd hwn yn amharchu milwyr Prydain a'r cyngreiriaid a wasanaethodd ac a ymladdodd dros ryddid ein gwledydd priodol gan gynnwys yma yn y Deyrnas Unedig ac a helpodd i ddod â diwedd ar yr ail ryfel byd. 80 mlynedd yn ôl ar fai y 5 o Ionawr 945.
Fechenfurig hu siamfach agus na leim a fat seo den video gus an bí von an last post de seil. Mura cum siirish a siúrla seo ha a déanamh diamash na sédaran Bretanach agus na cardan a bha a friala agus a shabed san siúsa na dúchanan clúilteach agin, aga féle stiachan seo san riocht de nuchte. Agus chuúdich éile fi acu chríoch an darna cogé. Och an 8 bliana coig cétan, né céé ce fichet a coig. Clíchi von an last post anish. Bydd tune an last post an chwarae nawr. The last post tune will play now.
Good morning and welcome to the 80th anniversary of VE Day special.
This year's VE Day is hailed as one of the biggest commemorations, with people from across the UK, Commonwealth, United States and the rest of Europe marking this occasion.
Around 384,000 British soldiers were killed in the fight for our country's freedom from tyranny, with 40,000 civilians, almost half of them in London, losing their lives during the 7-month bombing raid period between September 1940 and May 1941.
The World War II veterans at the events that took place on the 5th of May are in their late 90s and are representatives of a shrinking number of that generation.
80 years ago this week, then Prime Minister Winston Churchill encouraged the country to rejoice as he declared the war in Europe at an end.
Actor Timothy Spall repeated the war leader's words as crowds of military personnel gathered on Parliament Square to commemorate VE Day 80.
Their subsequent march to the Mall, where they were saluted by King Charles III and other royal member families and veterans, kicked off the 4 days of events across the UK.
Brits even braved the slightly disappointing weather in some parts of the country, which failed to put a stop to bunting-clad tea parties. Even Downing Street took part.
A Red Arrows fly past was the headline of the festivities, but there is more to look forward to over the rest of this week.
Today is the anniversary of Churchill's declaration, and this will see members of the royal family attend a Thanksgiving service at Westminster. Then in the evening it will be time for a live celebratory concert at Horse Guards Parade to conclude the festivities.
Proud veterans joined politicians and 3 generations of royals for the day's poignant and ceremonious events.
Meanwhile, people from across the UK came together to celebrate the bank holiday with commemorative street parties.
As we mentioned earlier, the Red Arrows were the headline of the festivities, with their trademark red, blue and white smoke adding a much-needed pop of colour to London's moody grey skies.
This was part of the spectacular aerial tribute organised by the Ministry of Defence. The fly past also included military aircraft from the RAF bases from all over the UK, delighting spectators and gripping young royals on the balcony of Buckingham Palace.
A military procession including regiments of the Household Division and King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery paraded down the Mall from Parliament Square to Buckingham Palace.
His Majesty saluted as the procession arrived at the palace, having made its way up the Union Jack-lined Mall.
He was joined by other royals as well as veterans, politicians and members of the public who welcomed the military groups as they drew nearer the palace. 3 generations of royals were on show, including the King, Queen and the Prince and Princess of Wales and their family.
Political figures in attendance included London's Mayor Sadiq Khan and Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and his wife, Lady Starmer.
A group of Ukrainian soldiers also joined the march, solemnly parading a Ukrainian flag and wearing military uniform.
Once the pageantry and pomp of the ceremony, procession and flyover had ended, attention turned towards tea, cake and partying to celebrate the day.
The royals hosted guests inside Buckingham Palace while the Prime Minister threw a tea party at Downing Street. Bank holiday street parties were also held across the country, including in Manchester, Middlesbrough and Seaford.
Meanwhile, away from the main drag of the Mall and Buckingham Palace, the Tower of London displayed almost 30,000 ceramic poppies for the opening of an exhibition titled The Tower Remembers, created by designer Tom Piper.
They were originally displayed as part of artist Paul Cummings' Blood-Swept Lands and Seas of Red installation at the Tower back in 2014.
The commemorative display resembles a wound at the heart of the tower, which was bombed during the Blitz. The exhibition will run until Armistice Day on November 11th.
2 other news now, and preparations are underway for the electing of a new pope following the death of Pope Francis.
When the Catholic Church elects a new pope, the world watches not for a press conference or a social media post, but for rising smoke from a small chimney atop the Sistine Chapel.
If the smoke is black, then no new pope has been chosen yet, but if it turns white, then a decision has been made. Habemus Papam, we have a pope. It's high drama broadcast live to millions.
Pope Francis died on Easter Monday, aged 88, and with the funeral now over, attention has turned to the conclave, a private meeting through which a new pope will be chosen.
The Vatican confirmed that cardinals have met at St. Peter's Basilica on the 7th of May, which was yesterday, to celebrate a special mass before gathering inside the Sistine Chapel, where the complex vote will commence.
The tradition of burning the cardinals' paper ballots dates back to the 15th century and became part of conclave rituals aimed at ensuring transparency and preventing tampering, particularly after earlier papal election delays had led to public frustration and unrest.
Over time, the Vatican began using smoke as a way to communicate with the outside world, while preserving the strict confidentiality of the vote.
And today, in modern times, despite countless advances in communication and technology, the Vatican has chosen to preserve the tradition. Okay, to your weather now.
Okay, that's all today. Thank you for watching. Happy VE Day. Please subscribe and we will see you in a couple of weeks.